Thank you very much. And General, while I have deep respect for you, and we've known each other for over the years, and I've paid attention to your testimony here on various issues, I couldn't disagree with you more in the number of points that you've made today. But first, let me just note, if ISIL is not being hit by the administration. I was in Erbil a week ago, and I talked to people on the front lines, and there are truckloads of military supplies on the freeway and are not being hit by the United States military, by our drones or by military aircraft. I don't know where you get your information, but I can tell you that information came straight from people on the front lines. Also, we haven't been helping. This administration also hasn't been even helping our friends. We haven't been directly supplying the Kurds. We've been hearing over and over again for the last year, we got to help the Kurds, and this administration's been dragging its feet, just like it dragged its feet trying even to give any type of help to General Sisi, who saved his country from being taken over by the Muslim Brotherhood. And then this administration was angry with him for that and actually made Egypt vulnerable to being taken over by the radical Islamic forces that now threaten the entire region. So I don't believe that, no, we are not doing militarily what needs to be done. But where do we go in terms of what the issue is today? American citizens, first of all, we say we want to handle. There's a problem at home. There are some American citizens who have been engaged in terrorist activity, joining these people. That's the number one issue that we've heard about today. Let us declare that any American citizen who joins any Islamic terrorist organization, that when that person is arrested, of course they should be arrested immediately when we find that out, that person should be tried for treason for joining that organization. Treason is when you join a company that is out to kill Americans. We need to arrest and try any American who joins a terrorist organization as a traitor, and thus he should be found guilty or not guilty, but if found guilty, he should be executed as a traitor. In terms of people that we want to bring into our country, in terms of refugee camps, here again, General, I totally disagree with what you have to say. The bottom line is our policy should be based on what will make America the most secure from any type of terrorist attack. Our fellow Americans' lives are the number one priority, not whether it's going to be sensitive or not to whether how Islamic people or radicals or whoever they are in other parts of the world are going to think about the United States. Yes, right now Christians, for example, are being targeted throughout the Middle East. They're targets of genocide, and for us not to prioritize would put us in the same spot that Mr. Elliot Engel was talking about in pushing away Jews, because it might upset the Germans or somebody else if we let Jews in at a time when they were being targeted by Adolf Hitler. What your policy is well, no, let's not prioritize these Christians because it might upset some Muslims someplace, is very equivalent of pushing those Jews right into those death camps that Elliot Engel just talked about. If we're going to be serious here, let's, number one, if Christians are the people who are the most targeted in that region, and everybody I know says that, they're targeted for genocide, they should have the priority when we're trying to give safe haven to people. And I don't care if that touches on somebody's sensitivity overseas. Number two, we have to be concerned about the safety of the people of the United States. If we're going to bring in people here, at least these Christians wouldn't be potential terrorists and joining up groups that want to commit genocide against them. And finally, let's just say that when we do bring in if we bring in people, we have to be absolutely certain that nobody is going to be committing acts of violence against the people of the United States. And I think that by prioritizing and say we're going to put a hold on this for a while, and as far as I'm concerned, your attitude earlier on, General, was frivolous about this. We're going to put a hold on it for a while. We're going to find out what we have to do to ensure that these people coming into our country don't commit the type of acts against Americans the way these terrorists did against the French just a week ago. That's number one. And if it means prioritizing and making sure that we do differentiate and say the Christians who are now the most vulnerable are going to be the ones who have priority for safe haven here, let's go for it. And so I'm sorry, General, and I respect you, and I know you're a patriot, and I just disagree with you very strongly on these points.
Do I get a chance to respond?
I hope so. Yes, sir.
Well, we have this conversation every time you and I talk here in full view of the American people. We always start out by "I respect you, but," and then we get it. So this is a pattern of behavior between the two of us. That's okay. But listen, I'm not defending the administration here. I'm trying to present an alternative strategy that would be helpful. But I am saying that when it comes to the Kurds, things have improved. Talking to them myself, are they satisfactory? No, is what I said. I am saying that the convoys, those long convoys with flags waving in the air that we saw on all of our television screens at the beginning of the conflict, a lot of that has gone away. Has something possibly slipped through because of some mission that day that didn't detect it or whatever? Sure. But as a pattern of behavior, that has improved. I am saying the air campaign is unsatisfactory, and I have strong feelings about it. And with the refugees, I don't think any one of us is disagreeing with the chairman's proposal at the outset, which was, let's bring the executive branch in, let's take a look at their plan, and make certain that this plan is reasonable and will protect the American people. I think we're all in agreement on that. And you're reacting to my emotion, and this is good, over the fact that we shouldn't be saying the only people we're going to take in are Christians. I mean, if there are Christians here who are coming to America, and I suggest there are, certainly they're welcome. There are Muslims here, which will make up the majority of it, because that's what the population pool is. Certainly, they should be welcomed as well. I mean, when we really get down to it, you know, this process that's taken place that Matt laid out is obviously colored by the fact that we know for a fact there could be terrorists in that group. So it's not like a normal asylum issue that's coming to the United States where we welcome, on average, as you know, the Congress sets the ceiling with the president, is about 70,000 a year. So is this influx of refugees different from all those others? Yes. I think we're all saying that. Yes, it is. And if it actually got down to it, I think we know women and children and families probably are less likely to be terrorists if they're undocumented. If you got an undocumented 22-year-old standing in front of you, and you don't know who he is or where he's from, why would you let him in? Just because he wants to come in? I would assume the process would say he's at risk. We're not going to accept that risk.
But nobody is saying to hold all the Muslims back. Nobody's saying that. It's the Christians deserve priority if they are the ones who are most vulnerable and under genocidal threat. And to give them priority, say we shouldn't do that. Those women and children, if there happen to be Christians who we know are targeted, that we can't take that into consideration. That is being, frankly, heartless towards Christians in order to curry favor with Muslims, and that's wrong.